Greetings, Ventures. This is Lauren, your guild advisor, back at it with some more DanMemo news for February 25th. The live stream went up earlier today in Japan, and I would like to thank both Simhow6567 and N121070 for the translations used in this video. But like I said earlier last week, they teased the Sword Oratoria Volume 5 adaptation, and we didn't know exactly how they would adapt it, if it was going to be like added to the Sword Oratoria anime main story in game, attached to both the Eyes and Elfi episodes, but it looks like you're just going about having a regular event and doing it that way. It's gonna be a long tale since it is covering one whole volume, Under Resort Crossing, and we're getting a lot more characters than I thought we would, beyond that initial Eyes and Elfi tease. And they even put an infographic during the stream just to place where Volume 5 of Sword Oratoria takes place. As you can see right up there, Season 1 of Danmachi takes place during Volumes 1 through 5, and then Season 1 of Sword Oratoria encompasses Sword Oratoria Volumes 1 through 4, and Volume 5 of Sword Oratoria and Volume 5 of the main series, which is when Belle fights the Black Goliath and also gets stuck on floor 18. Both of those things kind of coincide within the same timeline because Sword Oratoria Volume 5 takes place during that time when Loki Familia is shacked up on floor 18, and that's when Belle bumps into Eyes and gets some help from Loki Familia. So that's when this story will be taking place. And just some tidbits about Under Resort Crossing. Again, it's Sword Oratoria Volume 5. It takes place directly after the Sword Oratoria anime because there's only one season, so this is content beyond the anime that's not yet animated, and it's going to be fully voiced for this like most DanMemo events. The event gotcha coins, medals required for the rolls will be halved, so that's nice. And then the final reward for the 15th round is a 4-star guaranteed ticket. And if you clear the event, you'll be getting one of those Ready for Act bells, which is the free farmable unit for the event. Now let's go over the units themselves. The first one is new Armed Eyes. We saw her art last week. She's a physical attacker. She has over 2k strength at +5 maximum break, so we're seeing more and more units reach that benchmark of 2k, and her agility is at 963. For her special arts, it's an AoE ultra water physical attack with a temporary strength boost and ultra penetration rate, and will also increase her strength, dexterity, and water attack damage by 80% for 4 turns. So lots of boosts being applied to her, 3 different ones. So a lot of buffs being attached to that special arts, and because they do last 4 turns, she'll be doing quite a bit of damage for the following turns after her special arts. And for her combat skills, her first skill is a slow strength, agility, and water attack damage buff of 60%, and also reduces the agility of your foes by 30% for 4 turns. So this is a pretty interesting move, like how it's a slow move, so it's going to go towards the end of the turn with that slow modifier, but it also increases her strength, agility, water attack damage, and also reduces agility. So on the following turn, she's pretty much guaranteed to go first, especially if you use her fast attack, which is the second move, an AoE fast high water physical attack. That'll remove both agility and dexterity buffs that are not ones from assist skills. So a lot of people use agility buffs in war games, so Eyes is supposed to set up for her skills turn 1, and then in the second turn she takes off agility buffs, so your opponent will be lacking in agility, and you'll probably be going pretty fast in the turn order in the following turns after that as the opponent tries to get their agility back up. So that last skill is a standard hard-hitting single target move. You'll probably be using in single target encounters after, of course, buffing her with her first skill, and as a notable passive, her counter attacks will remove physical resistance buffs from your enemies, excluding assist skills. And our next unit was also revealed last week, Arcana Cascade Lafia. At maximum break, max 0 ascension, she has 1915 attack, pretty high, and her agility is at 916. As for her skills, her special arts is a single target ultra water magic attack that increases in damage by 70% for each magic buff skill on her, and also reduces water resistance by 50% for 2 turns. So a lot of things being stacked up together in the special arts. Not only will she be doing a ton of damage if you have her own magic buff on her as well as one from an assist, but she also reduces enemy water resistance by 50% in that same move, so it's going to be doing a ton of damage during a single target fight especially if they're weak against water. As for her combat skills, her first skill is a self 20% MP heal, and also buffs her magic, dexterity, and water attack damage by 60%, and also debuffing her agility by 30% for 4 turns. Now, because she is a single target attacker, she's going to be mainly used for stuff like Record Buster, like Familia events where you are attacking bosses. Agility isn't too important, so she's not really losing much of anything to buff herself up, and then that 20% MP heal will come into play when I mention something else later on in her kit. Her second skill is a single target fast high water magic attack that also reduces the magic resistance and water resistance of your enemy by 30% for 3 turns, so definitely something you want to be using so she stacks up the damage with the rest of her moves. And her final skill is a single target super water magic attack that increases in damage by 60% for each magic buff on her. Now, I'm not quite sure if that translation on the last part is completely accurate, but the Christmas Aisha has a very similar skill where it will remove her strength buff after the move is used. The one key thing to look out on this skill for is the very high MP cost of 201. So Lafia is definitely a unit that is a lot better if you have her more limit broken, have more hero ascension, so her maximum MP is increased, and of course her first skill will be very important to use because it does heal 20% of her MP, so that's something you need to manage with this unit. But she seems to be extremely powerful between her special arts being crazy powerful, along with her third skill being very powerful as well. And moving to units that we didn't know about previously, this one is Alicia, I believe. They said Alicia in the Japanese stream, and even though she is in Volume 4 of Sword Oratoria, they did not include her in the anime adaptation, so we don't have an English pronunciation for her name. I will say Alicia for this character, and I was not expecting to see her for this event, this gacha, so I'm very pleased actually seeing new characters show up in DanMemo. She will be a balance type character, as you can see by the somewhat low magic stat of 1507 at maximum break, max hero ascension, but usually balanced units have some very powerful skills, which we'll get to right now. Her special art is an AoE ultra water magic attack that also has a temporary magic boost and ultra penetration rate, and it will remove all status buffs excluding assist skills. And if that translation is correct, her special arts removes like any status buffs in general, like strength buffs, magic buffs, fire attack damage buffs like that. Anything you can think of, like physical resistance buffs, magic resistance buffs. So it'll be very interesting to see if this special arts is used a lot in maybe something like war games. That's gonna be something we have to experiment on. If using a damaging special arts is better than using something like this that just completely erases all the buffs on your opponent. We'll just have to see how that goes. And as for combat skills, it's a fast self-magic agility and moderate attack damage buff of 30%, and also reduces the single target and AoE damage your allies receive by 30% for 5 turns. So it's very similar to Galmus, except she also buffs her own magic agility and water with that, and it also lasts for 5 turns. So a lot of things happen with this skill with just one move. It's pretty crazy. And her second skill is an AoE fast high water magic attack with an ultra uncounter rate and removes strength and magic buffs excluding assist skills. So usually you'll be using her first skill to buff up both herself and also decrease the amount of damage her and your allies will be taking, and then she'll be using her second skill in war games, which should be going pretty close to first after her agility buff and it being a fast attack, and remove any strength and magic buffs that might be on your opponent. And as for her last skill, it's a single target high water magic attack with a temporary magic boost and ultra unguard rate. Just the standard single target attack to use if you are in a single target situation. Nothing too spectacular about that one. She's definitely something I'm excited to use because I recently went all out on the High Elf Archer Ryu, so now I'm trying to build a magic team after using physical for so long, so I need more magic units, and I think Alicia is one of those magic characters that's really going to help me. And next character we have is delightful Mage Elfi, another character I was not expecting to see with this Sword Oratoria Volume 5 adaptation. She's actually Lefia's roommate in the Lucky Familia home, if you didn't know that. But she will be a magic attacker with a magic stat of 1855, max hero ascension, maximum break, and her agility is at 1031, so it is pretty high for a magic character, just high in general. For her special arts is an AoE Ultra Fire magic attack with a temporary magic boost, an Ultra On Guard rate, and it removes all debuffs from your allies. So like how Alicia removes all status buffs from your enemies, Elfi remove all status debuffs from your allies. That's very interesting if those skills are translated properly. So the special arts might be very useful to use if there are some substantial debuffs being placed on your party. And as for her combat skills, her first skill prevents your allies from being knocked out if their HP is above or equal to 10%, and this buff is removed when their HP reaches below 10%. So let's say a member of your party is at 20% HP, they'll avoid being killed if something would kill them, but the moment their HP hits like 9%, that buff is going to go away. And she also increases the strength, magic, and fire attack damage of your allies by 25% for 4 turns, so a nice little buff in addition to her prevent of a knockout skill. For her second skill, it's a AoE super fire magic attack with a temporary magic boost, high penetration rate, and this thing, very interesting, drains 20% MP. So again, this might be something that's not translated exactly correctly, but if it does what I think it does, it might be pretty strong, especially maybe in a war game setting as well, because 20% MP is quite the drain, especially as a war game goes on and on. If you're continuously draining 20% of your opponent's MP, if you're using like a stall team and you're riding it out, you're going to prevent your opponents from using their more costly skills or more powerful skills if you just take all their MP away. So very interested to see how this skill plays out in a war game setting. And then for her final skill, it's a single target high fire magic attack with a temporary magic boost and ultra on guard rate, and drains 15% MP, which confuses me because it's a lower amount than 20 when this is a single target attack, but I guess that's the way it goes. It's just a standard single target attack, and it will hit pretty decently when combined with her first skill, but she's definitely someone that's intended to be used in an AoE setting. And as for her notable passive, she does 50% more damage on her counter attacks. So again, good to see another new character added into the game in the way of Elfi with this one. And of course, what's another DanMemo event without a new Hestia? Someone that really isn't involved that much in this novel to begin with, but okay, we gotta get Hestia in here somehow, so here you go. I can't really complain too much because Ryu has been getting a lot of love lately, so speaking of that. Anyway, pretty mediocre stats when it comes to both strength and magic. Her dexterity is at 550, and her agility is somewhat high at 440 at max limit break. But as for her actual assist skill at +5, it will increase the critical rate, penetration rate, and counter rate of your allies by 10%, and also provides 10% MP regen to the character she is equipped with. Some of you might be thinking that 10% MP would work well with the new Lefia, and that might be true to an extent, but because she only provides like 303 magic at best, there are a lot better options when it comes to putting something on Lefia just for pure magic stat, because we got units that go up to like over 600 magic maximum break to put on Lefia to increase her magic power output. So interested to see how this Hestia shapes up, but in my opinion, she's not that amazing, but maybe someone will prove me wrong and use her and she'll be amazing. But she could also work very well as one of those sacrificial characters that you use. You put those revolving amulets on, so you get this critical penetration counter rate buff of 10%, and then swap her out for a unit with something else, so that's something also to keep in mind. And we're also getting a new Festus, which is also surprising to me, because I'm like, I don't remember Festus playing that big of a role in Volume 5 of Sword Oratoria. I do know someone related to Festus plays somewhat of a role in that novel, but not Festus herself. But it is nice to see a new Festus. For some reason, I have a thing for like girls in suits. I always find it attractive, like with Saber in Fate, Ryu from episode Ryu when she sneaks into the casino, and now we have a Festus in a suit, and I don't understand myself, but for some reason I really like it. Anyway, for a magic stat, it's at 627, like I said earlier. There are other magic options for Lafia, and this one being Hephaestus at 627. Max magic when she's at +5, and as for her assist skill, she will give 20% magic to all your allies in addition to fire and water attack damage buffs of 15%. So very similar to the Halloween Fells, if you remember him. He also gave 20% magic, but gave an increase in the dark and earth elements rather than fire and water. And Hephaestus is pretty much the go-to unit to have if you have any fire or water magic characters, especially the characters in this banner. So, and also some notable characters to think about as well are the Philvis and Lafia from the Idol event. Those are also very good fire magic attackers to keep in mind as well with this Hephaestus. So very nice for them as well. And we also have the new free Bell. There's not much to talk about with him because free units aren't as powerful as the gacha characters, but I do want to talk about the art. Like, I don't know what the motif is here. I don't know what the theming is, but it is interesting, and I guess he's ready for Final Fantasy VII Remake with that Buster Sword. But for some reason, he is a magic attacker despite the gigantic sword at 1472 a maximum break, and all of you will be getting him a maximum break because he's the free farmable unit for the event. And he's called Ready for Act Bell, and that doesn't make sense in English to me. Like, Ready for Action makes sense, but Ready for Act, like act of a play? I don't know. Anyway, I don't make the names. His special arts is a single target ultra fire magic attack with a temporary magic boost and high unguard rate, and it will also increase the amount of single target damage the opponent will take by 20% for 4 turns. And as for his combat skills, he has a single target skill that's a mid-fire magic attack and also increases your allies' physical and magic resistance by 20% for 4 turns. The second skill is a single target low fire magic attack that also increases his magic and fire attack damage by 40% for 4 turns. And his last skill is a single target high fire magic attack that will reduce your opponent's physical resistance, magic resistance, and fire resistance by 20% for 4 turns. So a lot of resistances being debuffed there for the opponent. So this Bell is actually a nice character to have for a newer player that needs a strong single target character. And it's also very nice because he has that resistance buff of physical and magic for your allies on that first skill. So a decent character for newer players. And as for the way the gacha banners will be situated, we have a Lafia, Hestia, and Elfi banner. And of course, this is a non-time limited event, so you can use your regular prison bonds for these characters. You'll get a guaranteed 4-star character featured on the banner on the first, 4th, 7th, and 10th draws. And of course, the second banner is the remaining characters, Eyes, Festus, and Alicia. And this is probably the banner I'm going to go all out on. And it's like all 3 characters that I would want because I am trying to build up my magic team to actually make use of my high elf archer Ryu. And if for some reason I get that Eyes instead, like more bonds for Eyes, it's not too much of a problem for me because she will work quite nice with my Christmas Bell from last event. So a lot of things could happen that, like, however this banner goes, I'm probably going to walk away somewhat satisfied because they're all characters that I could use. And of course, we have paid bundles being advertised, special bundle, mini bundle, and of course we have the login campaign, and this should be going live on the 27th of February Pacific Standard Time. The event itself is live tomorrow night, Wednesday, the 26th of February Pacific Standard Time. But lots of tickets in this campaign bonus, and I'm pretty sure just standard tickets, even the 4-star being a standard ticket from the general pool. I know these characters will be added to the general pool eventually. We're not sure if they're going to be added immediately, but they will be at some point. And additional things happening with this event is the upgrade support campaign. So main story quests will cost half stamina. Trying to level up your characters with Exilia books has a double rate of great success. The cost of Exilia quest happen have, and all Fallen quests will be unlocked during the duration of the campaign, and the drop rate of Fallen will be doubled. And I don't know why they repeat that there. Maybe they're talking about auxiliary quests, drop rate doubled. We'll see what that means. Maybe Valis drop rate doubled. Who knows? And this little thing was teased during a Japanese live stream called the 7th Zone. And what they did with that tease is also display this graphic. And in that bottom left corner, you see those two like stone-like things, the purple and the blue one. Those are things that were added into the game files recently. I say recently, probably like almost a month ago. But a lot of us believe that these will be materials that will be used in the equipment ascension function that was introduced into the blacksmith quite a while ago, but it's still locked. And they said that we'll be getting more information about this in a future live stream, but this is something to keep note of. And I'm scared for how they try to implement this equipment ascension thing, because like I said before, I'm not too high on the hero ascension stuff because you can pay for hero lights, and I just don't like the path the game is going down if they're introducing more materials that you can just straight up buy with real money with the way of equipment ascension. So hopefully it's not the same thing, not a similar thing as how hero lights work, and it's just something that you can grind for through whatever way they choose to implement this, whether that's like a special event or just being added to the game as a feature like the crafting quest. But we'll see how that goes. And they're also announcing a new heroic trial that'll be going live tomorrow night called Mission Wedding. They displayed the wedding event Tione and Lily, but hopefully the Hestia and Seer are there as well, because I'd rather have bonds for one of those two characters than Tione or Lily. But keep that in mind, make sure you get whatever bond you want for that. And then we're getting a Utaro Record Buster tomorrow night as well. We're going to gear up for Familiar War Game. That's going to go live on March 3rd, so be prepared for that. Keep that in mind. And War Game training will be going on at that time. So for people that aren't in Familias or newer players, this is very helpful because they do give you materials to help you upgrade your characters with War Game training. No Iris Award though. And then just a general overview of the upcoming schedule. On the 26th tomorrow night, we'll be launching the Sword Oratoria Volume 5 event under Resort Crossing. We'll be getting the 2 Gacha banners, United and Clash. The 2 paid bundles will be going live. Hero Trials will be going live. Record Buster will be going live. And then that support campaign will be going live. And then on the 27th, we just start the login bonus campaign. But most of us probably won't see that until the 28th, because unless you don't log in until like 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you're gonna have to wait till the 28th to actually get those login bonuses started. And then on the 3rd, March 3rd, will be the start the Familiar War Game and then the Training War Game. And that's all we have this time for the news. And as for what we're looking forward to in the future, like, of course, we're going to finish off the DanMemo Season 2 integration into the actual story of the game at some point and getting new characters with that. A lot of us are thinking Toad will probably be one of those characters, Pern, and hopefully Al is one of those characters as well, because there's a lot more episodes to go over with Season 2 and not many unique characters to get to release with said Season 2 quests. So hopefully Alan is one of them. And White Day is coming up. DanMemo has never celebrated White Day before, but we skipped Valentine's Day. We didn't have an event for that because of the Goblin Slayer event, so maybe we'll actually get a White Day event where we'll be getting boys, new boy characters. That'd be exciting, right? Actual males added into the game. We'll see if that happens, and we need some more boys in suits. Otaro in the suit, Welf in the suit. Who knows? Finn in the suit. Gareth needs a new unit. He needs a 4-star character, a normal 4-star character that's not an event one from an event that wasn't originally around because we didn't have the game yet. It was just a rerun from New Year's. Anyway, hope you guys looking forward to the Sword Oratoria stuff. I'm glad that stuff in the light novels is being adapted into the game. Like, we don't know when the Sword Oratoria Season 2 will be coming, if it is coming, but we're at least able to continue the story in this way. But if you are curious about Sword Oratoria, if this version of Volume 5 excites you, I strongly urge you to read the light novels, especially the main series, but of course Sword Oratoria as well. But we'll be getting Sword Oratoria Volume 6 in the future as well, adding to the game, and that's one that's going to be amazing just because it's one of my favorite installments in the Sword Oratoria series. It's about the Amazon twins, and I can probably guess what units, what all 6 characters will be whenever that event happens. And I don't really want to say, obviously, the Amazon twins, but as for the other 4, I don't want to say because it could lead to possible spoilers. Golly, familiar. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you get good luck on your rolls. Hope you are looking forward to this event. If you want to see more Danmachi content, go ahead, like this video, and subscribe to my channel. Sword Oratoria Volume 11 came out today, and there will be a review later on in the week. Possibly tomorrow, because I did get the book a little bit early, so look out for that. And of course, follow me on Twitter and join my Discord, and as always, continue enjoying your time adventuring in Mario and the dungeon. This is Lauren, your Guild Advisor, signing out.